All right, guys, the NBA Cup championship game is set. It's the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Las Vegas, Tuesday night, prime time, 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It is going to be a good game. I'm very excited for that one. Uh, the NBA Cup has been respected. People have been respecting the cup. Both of these teams really want it, and I'm going to repeat this stat for our YouTube listeners, but Darvin Ham and Torian Prince are 13-0 in their NBA Cup slash in-season tournament careers. They have never lost a game because they were with the Lakers last season, and this season with the Bucks have been playing well. Or Darvin Ham's a coach, but still assistant coach that is. And they're facing a young, hungry Oklahoma City Thunder team that just took down the Rockets. They've been one of the most unique defenses we've seen in NBA history, in some time at least, with the way they have four guards and a big, just really elite defense on the perimeter. And they're facing an absolute mammoth in Giannis and Damian Lillard, who's never won anything in his life when it comes to championship type things. So it's going to be an interesting one. Where would you guys like to start?
Let's start with the Bucks because we can talk about the Thunder. The Bucks come off a very convincing win against the Atlanta Hawks. Those that have been tuning into the pod will know we've spoken about the Hawks. Uh, the Hawks have been in the line of mid. They were exactly in mid in one of the charts I was seeing. I can show that up, but I'm surprised by the Bucks. I remember we did our predictions. We didn't have them going this far, but especially since the start of the season, I'm glad they're here. I'm glad Giannis gets to take over more games and just be a good face for the league. But I really do think this is going to be a special matchup. I do prefer it a lot more than the Lakers Pacers last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, because this feels like two actual NBA championship contenders to some extent at least. With this matchup between the Bucks and OKC, and they're two teams that rarely play too, and that are really good. So it's exciting in that sense because if you look at last season, for example, the games OKC and Milwaukee played weren't too notable. One of them, a bunch of Bucks players were resting, and then the other one was I don't remember the exact context, but I remember the Bucks just won in a blowout because their size was a little bit too much. But this Thunder team now has Isaiah Hartenstein, who's going to be a big factor in stopping Brook Lopez from absolutely eating inside. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see. Alex, do you have anything top of mind with this game?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how OKC is going to match against the Bucks defensively because yeah, they're basically going to have two bigs all the time on the court, be it Giannis, be it Bobby Portis, or be it Brook Lopez. For OKC, that's probably not going to be like a huge problem, though. I'd argue that with Hartenstein, you probably have at least you definitely have the second most physical guy on the court. Problem is obviously going to be Giannis, but like if Giannis is going to be on the perimeter, I'd argue that it's going to be J-Dub who's guarding him. Since he has the reach, he's got the wingspan to really go after Giannis. And then like perimeter defensively wise, you'd have a matchup of like Cason Wallace and Lou Dort against Damian Lillard. So I'd argue that Cason is probably a bit more flexible on the perimeter compared to Lou, who's more of a physical menace. Um, and I feel like against Dame, you need to be a bit quicker on your feet because Dame is playing more around the perimeter than like someone like Steph Curry. Like Curry can also occasionally like uh, get more to the rim than I feel like a Dame can. Though obviously you have to watch out for like Dame and Giannis pick and rolls.
Yep. And I absolutely agree with you, Alex. I think they'll have Jalen Williams guarding uh, Giannis, also just so they can have Isaiah Hartenstein as a helper. I think that matchup works really well. Then you've got size. I think they will overload on Giannis and Dame a lot, especially in that pick and roll. The Thunder have been very known within their defense identity to take away the stars and have the role players beat you. But that's guys like AJ Green, that's guys like Gary Trent. If they're hitting their shots, they're open in the corner. Dame or Giannis is able to find them on those very quick kick passes. We'll see. But the OKC, especially for Dame, he's gonna have a tough night because it's Caruso, because it's Ludor. It could even a lot of guys are still good defenders on his team. I would really love to see an Isaiah Joe game. I worry about their perimeter defense as soon as we kind of step in. They still haven't been one of the better defensive teams in the league this season. And I think OKC's can be quite good because the Bucks like to pack the paint on a lot of drives, is what I've seen so far this season.
Yep, that's well said. I'm interested too to see if they go with the decision because Brook Lopez is going to be on the perimeter. So I think they're going to do what you guys said, but a lot of the time Brook likes, at least at the start of games, he likes to chill around the perimeter around the 3-point line. So I wonder if OKC just puts like something random, like they put Shai on him or they put Cason Wallace on him, and then they have Hartenstein guarding Giannis just because Giannis wants to get downhill, Hartenstein's effective downhill, and if Brook Lopez is on the wing, there's not much Hartenstein can do unless he just wants to leave him open. So yeah, that's going to be a very interesting chess battle because I feel like OKC's game plan on Lillard will be effective because you have Dort, you have Cason Wallace, you have Caruso, you have J-Dub if you need him, you have Shai if you need him. Everyone is just a good Dame defender, just the way they're built. But in terms of a Giannis stopper, they don't really have one on the team. So I could see the case where Giannis just goes off for like 45 points and everyone else on the Bucks struggle and then they lose the game like that kind of thing. Or Giannis just has like a 60 bomb and they get a win. But it's gonna be interesting because we're really good at stopping star players from going off. So maybe we go the shameless route and just say anybody but Giannis and we triple team Giannis the whole time, which we can do as well. But it's gonna be a very interesting chess battle. I'm interested on that.
Because this is the first time we will see the Milwaukee Bucks and the Thunder play against each other this season. Like, there is no game tape. There's no adjustments. And just looking at the numbers, I did not realize that. So, just pointing the Brook Lopez thing, through the wire, spoke about this for like 7 minutes straight. It was like 4 rebounds a game. It's crazy. You can still get rebounds. There's a lot of rebounds. There's at least 50 a game in the NBA.
I know. I was just gonna say he's gonna get the over in this next game. I'm pretty confident on that.
Yep. So the Bucks rank 5th in the NBA in defensive rebounding, but offensive rebounding, they're actually lower than the Thunder. They're ranked last in the NBA. I'm really surprised by that. I know.
Offensive rebounding or defensive rebounding? They're dead last.
Offensive rebounds, they are dead last with
Interesting.
8 per game behind the Brooklyn Nets and the Indiana Pacers and the Chicago Bulls, who are all very fast running gun teams.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I wonder why, because I guess it could be part of the cons of having Brook Lopez chill around the 3-point line a lot on offense, right? And then Dame isn't gonna grab offensive rebound. Giannis is usually deep in the paint, so he's a good candidate to grab rebounds. And then not much else, I guess. Bobby Portis is solid. But yeah, that's an interesting point. But I'm sure the Bucks game plan is gonna be let's beat these guys up in the paint. And I wonder how Shai does on drop coverage because Shai historically, now last season he had 2 games against Brook Lopez. One of them he had an absolute stinker, and the other one he played really, really good. If you look historically, Shai usually struggles against Brook Lopez. So I wonder what the outcome's going to be this game. And Shai's a much better player now than he used to be, so that's another factor. But it's going to be an interesting game. Very interesting. I'm very happy with this outcome because it's 2 teams that don't usually play each other and are both contender level teams when they're playing their best basketball, which the Thunder are more consistent in doing, I guess.
I mean, you're absolutely right on the Shai versus Brook Lopez. He's averaging 19.8, 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists in 9 games against him. But that's including 2 rookie season games and a lot of tape. Only some recent games against him in 2024, but still he had a 12-point stinker and a 23-point game in the last year. So, something.
It's interesting. I don't know how real that is now that Shai's a much better player, but it's something to keep in mind at least. And Taurean Prince also, he's a solid Shai defender. So it's going to be interesting because the Bucks defense overall is very disappointing, but they have some guys who historically Shai has not played the best against. There's also J-Dub. He's going to be a huge X factor just in terms of a secondary scoring option. I'm interested to see how he plays in this game as well, because he's going to have a tough task defensively and offensively to contain Giannis as much as possible. What do you guys think about Dame? Because I feel like Dame is going to have a hard time, because at all times, OKC is going to have 3 really, really good options to put on Dame. And Dame didn't even play that good against the Hawks. Like, he scored the points, but they weren't very efficient. I'm going to pull it up real quick. 24 points on 8 for 21 shooting with only 5 free throws. So it's kind of tough. It's tough out there. So it's interesting. And the Hawks have similar profile of defenders as OKC. They don't play the same style. So who knows? Dame could struggle again against OKC, but we'll see.
I don't think he's really good against double teams and pressure. That's just me, though. I think it's hard when you're a small guard. Should we move into X factors, maybe?
Sure. Yeah, I give my X factors. To me, it's I'll say Isaiah Hartenstein for the Thunder. Just the points I was making about can he avoid foul trouble? Because if it's not him, then they're gonna have to go small with Kenrich Williams, and that's not ideal in my opinion. And for the Bucks, I'll just say 3-point shooting, because OKC is likely going to help heavy on Giannis. So the Bucks role players are going to have to step up if the Bucks want to be in this game.
Yeah, I agree with the Bucks reason. Like 3-point shooting, especially AJ Green as like a solo key X factor, in my opinion, is going to play a huge role for them, because he's most likely going to be open. He's known for only knocking down threes, like he's not going in for 2. So you definitely got to watch out for him. And for the Thunder, it's going to be Shai. I'd say it's kind of a boring answer, but like when it comes to like Milwaukee's prowess, especially like defensively underneath the rim, like Shai needs to have a pretty good game, and yeah, hopefully he's going to step up, because I feel like otherwise the Bucks will play standard defense on the rest of OKC.
Alright, that's all, folks. That clip is from episode 67 of the YAMology podcast. Hope you enjoyed our wee breakdown. We like to do these YouTube cuts every now and again. So if you've enjoyed it, just make sure to share, like, subscribe, and we wish you the very best in the new year, and Merry Christmas to those who celebrate.